It's almost time for the final pay-per-view offering from All Elite Wrestling, and the question on everybody's mind is, by the time December 30th, 2023 ends, will their world ascend or will it end? Let's talk about what could possibly happen. I'm John Rentham with my AEW World's End 2023 predictions from the Nassau Coliseum, and yeah, that venue has a rich history when it comes to professional wrestling, good and bad, and also a little bit of indifference. That being said, indifference is kind of what I have to most of this card. I'm excited to see what plays out with a couple of the championship matches, but as far as my hype level, it's kind of minimal. Now, I will continue to put my money towards All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view offerings, but they're going to have to really give people more of an incentive because, sure, there are a couple matches that have a little bit of story behind them, but quite a few of them just seem slopped together. Yes, injuries caused a couple changes, especially to the tag team championship matches now as an 8-man. But they just slopped out a whole bunch of matches on Dynamite. I mean, they literally threw out, I think 3 or 4 matches. They finalized all of it. Just... And I'm worried that the whole devil thing is going to end up being, as Arn Anderson would say, a popcorn fart. I hope I'm wrong, but it really does seem like their Black Scorpion thing. Who do you think the devil is? Do you think we're going to get the devil revelation on this show? And who do you think is going to leave as champion? What championships will change? Which ones will stay the same? Are there too many championships in AEW? Anyway, let's just get to the predictions. So a 20-man battle royal for a TNT championship shot. Okay, if it's a face, I'm going with Rocky Romero. If it's a heel, I don't know. I don't even know if Rocky's in the goddamn thing because as of this recording, Thursday night, the participants haven't been announced. I honestly don't care. I'm done with the battle royals, the tournaments, the multi-man matches, and this is across all companies. It just gets a little bit old, and it feels very late era WCW. Like, just throw a battle royal. Hey, no New York rules. Oh, God, I could just see Tony Khan trying to do that the next time they go for Dynamite Grand Slam. If it's a face winning, I'll go with Rocky Romero. And considering what I think is going to happen in the TNT No DQ Championship match, I'm going to go with a face. So, Rocky or some other face that, that could give Christian Cage a good match. And if it happens to be Copeland, I mean, I guess you could have Luchasaurus return and, maybe be kind of a tweener. I don't really care about this whole thing. Hook versus Wheeler Yuta, FTW Championship. Hook, it might be well wrestled, but I don't care about Wheeler, even though he's fine in the ring. And Hook should get the victory. Miro versus Andrade El Olio. I hope CJ recovers from her infection. That looked very, very brutal. She could show up and cost Miro the match. I think she's going to be convalescing for a while, and she should. She shouldn't travel until she feels better. I'm going to go with Miro, and why not? I think Andrade is just waiting his contract out. Shane Swerve Strickland against Keith Lee. Hey, remember when Rick Ross said, "You're a big motherfucker"? They had the cinder block broken over Keith Lee's chest, and then they sort of kind of reference this whole thing, like a little bit here and there, but then people totally forgot about it because it happened over a year ago. This isn't nursing it along. Swerve is a lot more built up. Keith Lee has been here and there. I have Swerve winning. I think the crowd will be into it a bit, but they'll mostly be into Swerve, and it's something against Keith Lee, but I don't think they have a reason to care about Keith. Give it to Swerve. Let Swerve continue to just build momentum to eventually take the AEW World Heavyweight Championship and take his rightful place atop the company because he has deserved it for a while. And that's not to say Keith Lee shouldn't have championship gold, but he hasn't been utilized well. Christian Cage versus Adam Copeland, no DQ TNT Championship match. I think we're going to get a lot of shenanigans, and I think Christian is going to get the victory. Unless they have Kill Switch Thesaurus come back and cost Christian Cage the match. We're going to get a lot of stuff here. And Christian will continue to hold the TNT Championship. And you could eventually have Copeland beat him here. But I'm worried that they're going to just do a bunch of crazy stuff, even though these guys are in their early 50s. I wanted to care about this feud more than I do. And I just don't. I just honestly don't. A lot of it has been laughable, even though I know they're trying their best. So, Christian Cage. Timeless Tony Storm against Fluffer Riho. AEW Women's Championship match. Tony Storm wins, or I may just check out of everything involving the AEW Women's Championship, because Fluffer Riho should be nowhere near the goddamn, championship picture. And she should have never been the first or ever been an AEW Women's Champion. Should have been Nyla Rose. Julia Hart versus Abaddon. Abaddon. TBS Championship match. Julia Hart. I think Sky Blue is going to interfere. I think Statlander, Nightingale. I think we might actually get a shocking turn of Nightingale. I mean, I don't think Nightingale should be a heel, but they seemingly have forgotten that she got misted in the face. But if they want to reference that again for just the fuck all of just Swerve Bro, and I'm not talking about Swerve Strickland, but an old Russo Swerve, which we don't need at this point when enough moments on this particular program and in this company remind me of late era WCW, even with the good stuff. Julia Hart is going to get the victory, and I like that Abaddon has put effort into their gimmick and is gotten better, gotten in shape. They look great. I like the leg vice DDT. Wouldn't mind taking that. That's another story for another day. But Julia Hart will get the victory. Starks, Bog, Bill, Hobbs, and Fletcher against Sting, Darby, Jericho, and Sammy. Okay, either Darby, Sting, Jericho, and Sammy will win by pinning Fletcher, I'm guessing, or Sammy turns again just for the fuck of it. One of those two things will happen. Because it just... Does anybody really buy Sammy as a face? Does anybody buy Sammy in general? No. Say, one of those two things will happen. Moxley versus Kingston. Gold League versus Blue League winner of the inaugural and hopefully last Continental Classic for the AEW Triple Crown Championship, which is the Ring of Honor World, the New Japan Strong, and whatever the Triple Crown Championship is in Kingston. It has to be Kingston. It's not that Mox wouldn't make a good champion, but Kingston has to prove himself. They finally realized, hey, wait a second, we should have used Kingston like we should have, been using him after that whole article came out and he got a lot of positive buzz. But now let's use him when he's cooled off. Eddie still gets some good reactions. He will get a big reaction in Nassau. That will be cool. Eddie's going to get the victory. So, we then get to Maxwell Jacob Friedman against Samoa Joe. AEW World Title match. And I'm going to say right now, Samoa Joe does not win, especially after giving up the Ring of Honor TV Championship. After all that, after having that long run, beating Keith Lee and just giving it up, and the TV Championship meaning nothing, it's nothing against the people in Ring of Honor that are working hard, but Joe made that work. He gave that up to focus fully on the World Championship. He screwed over MJF on Dynamite. If he doesn't win, then he's going to look like an idiot. And Joe could win. You could have Swerve beat Joe. You could have Wardlow take out MJF soon after this. And MJF could go get some goddamn surgery that he likely desperately needs. But Samoa Joe has got to win. He's got to win. So I expect MJF to win. I love MJF. Do not get me wrong. I would love MJF to carry this thing for another year. But Joe has to win. He has to win. And somebody suggested this, and they know who they are. But that something's going to happen where they're going to have the Coquina clutch, and MJF isn't going to give up, and suddenly the Devil's going to show up and ring the bell, and the Devil's going to be Tony Khan. Watch the Devil be Tony Khan. If the Devil is Tony Khan, then I guarantee you I will probably turn red with just absolutely losing it, laughter-wise, on this goddamn channel, because that's going to be peak bullshit. That's going to be worse than the Black Scorpion. That's going to be worse than Vince McMahon has a higher power. That being said, those are the 10 matches as of now. They add stuff last minute on Rampage. No Collision this week. No Collision Rampage block. Excuse me for not having the clairvoyance to see it. Anyway, what are your predictions? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.